Okay, so this is either going to make some people mad, or this could make you, I don't know. I'm just gonna basically speak on my own piece of this because I don't necessarily know how to kind of go about this one. And this is pretty much gonna be a rant, so I assume I know the editing format of this video, which is no editing, just gameplay. But when it comes down to it, though, obviously, if you've been on the internet for more than 5 seconds and you've seen, some previous weeks ago, Luce and how the Vatican Catholic Church kind of made that whole mascot to get the youth into Christianity and things of the sort like that. Obviously, people memed about it, people made illustrations and different rule of the force stuff about it because why not? Clappable, I suppose. But when it comes down to it, obviously the whole point of it is just to get, the youth and other people into Christianity and things of the sort like that, right? That's the whole point of Luce's whole thing, right? And when it comes down to it, we are no strangers to the Catholic Church doing things with anime and stuff like that. They've done stuff with it before. But I'm not necessarily gonna lie. For me personally, I'm not someone that's Catholic, obviously. I am Baptist, and I know I don't show it in these videos. I know I'm probably the least type of person that shows anything about faith and things like that to believe in higher powers considering the content that's on this channel. I understand that, but yes, I do believe in, like a higher power in God and Jesus and things of the sort like that. I do believe in stuff like that, and I have that in a high degree in my mind all the time. That being said, when it comes to something like Luce being a mascot or a gateway for people to come in to a faith and things like that, I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a bad idea, but I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a good idea either. To be 100% honest, I do think, yes, that sure, getting people into, obviously to believe in something is obviously something that needs to be done, especially when it comes to churches, because churches don't know how to bring in people anymore like they used to. And granted, even when they did, they honestly teach people the wrong thing and all that type of stuff. That's why you got people now that don't believe in anything at all. But still, nonetheless, you can find ways of getting people in. I don't necessarily think this is the best way of going about it or the right way of going about it personally, right? There is very few things I hold back on when it comes down to, I guess, things to kind of go overboard on. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those lines, I suppose, I just wouldn't want to cross. I care very much about, ideas and how you go about certain things, right? You can have an idea and just kind of just have fun with it, but then I care about how you go about an idea. It's kind of like the DEI stuff, right? Like, you can have diversity and stuff in your games and whatever, that's perfectly fine. No one's batting an eye at that. But it's about how you go about it, and how that end result going to be because of the how, So obviously when I see Luce, I can't help but to think of the how and the reason for it, right? Because let's just keep it very much a stack. The reason why I don't think it's a good idea, besides my personal feelings on the matter, is also because anime is already mainstream enough. Like, there is already enough people in here making anime, like, getting bad takes and just enough trash people in here ruining the culture of what anime once was and things like that. The last thing we need is, more people and SJW people to come in to just drive it away from what anime is supposed to be even further. Like, I'd rather not have that happen any more than it already is, And as years go on and as people kind of make Luce come out to be like a good idea or something like that, it just is driving away what anime kind of is even more so, right? And I might be the only one that feels this way. And if I'm the only one that feels this way, then I'm the only one that feels this way. But I just don't agree with this character, right? you know. And I feel like when it comes down to, and just on the more religious side of things, and maybe not a lot of you are religious at all, and that's for, and you know, that's, if that's what you do, that's what you do, right? But at the end of the day, I don't feel like you need a mascot to bring somebody in to this type of life or this type of faith or whatever. When it comes down to it, when you already have stories of the past that should do that job for you, right? Or there should be a life experience that you go through, or something that basically leads you into it without some type of visual symbol or anything like that. Because at least within the Baptist world, or at least within the faith that I have and what I've learned, you're not really supposed to have any type of images of like God or Jesus or anything like that. Even the cross, technically, you're not supposed to have images like that. Any physical images, any, you know, symbolism like that that you can literally see. Like things like that, you're not really supposed to have. So it's kind of like, you know, having something like this is not really something that's supposed to exist either, right? And I'm not going to go super deep into that because obviously that's a whole nother rabbit hole, and you know, that's a whole nother thing I just don't want to do. But point is, things like that you're not even supposed to have. And it's just like, this is one of those type of situations from back in the day, especially within the Bible and stuff like that, where it's like they had idol gods and stuff like that back in the day, and like, oh, they wasn't supposed to worship those things and have those type of things, and people have their heart set on those things. And this is somewhat kind of the same, basically the same type of thing. And the last thing I would want is, even if it's for a Catholic faith, even if it's for something like that, I wouldn't want somebody to come into Christianity believing in, you know, Luce, or believing in this character more than the actual faith of what's supposed to be believed in, right? So that's just me. And that's the reason, personally, for me, why I haven't talked about this character or talked about this at all, because it leaves me uncomfortable personally for me, which there's not a lot of things that does that for me, right? I can literally go on a whole tangent, talk about a lot of things that does that matter in the long run that I can just easily do. But this is one of those cases where it's just like, where religion is involved, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not necessarily gonna lie, I'm not really a huge fan to talk about this type of thing, and I really don't want to, you know, bring it up in a way, because it's just not really, you know, great at the end of the day. You know, it's not something I really truthfully support, in my personal opinion, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just another, it's just another image at the end of the day. It's just another thing that just exists out there that doesn't really hold weight. It's not anything that's, you know, based on anything in the past. And even if it was, still not supposed to be anything that truthfully exists, or, you know, supposed to have a representation of that, right? So that's just a me thing, and that's just a thing that also, again, that I've read and been taught when it comes down to it. So there's also that, you know. So and somebody might be like, well, people shouldn't also make Rule 34 this character. You can make Rule 34 the character. I don't think, again, it's not really anything attached to anything, right? Even if they did say like, oh, this is a character to, you know, do what it's supposed to do, and, you know, a part of the things that it's a part of, it's somebody else's design. It's not necessarily, you know, something that carries real spiritual weight and real weight and things in a way it's supposed to. So, you know, if someone made Rule 34, who cares at the end of the day? It's not, Luce itself legit doesn't carry any true weight, you know. But it's just itself as a, you know, concept of, hey, this is the way to get people in. That's just kind of like, I suppose it's just kind of like the way how they kind of conduct themselves with this. That's kind of like the thing I don't agree with personally. So that just is what it is for me. Like, again, any other situation, any other Loli character, you can base any other Loli character on any other thing, I would have been perfectly fine. Going about any other method, perfectly fine. I just don't like it on this sort of thing, because it just is a bit challenging for me, because obviously, you know, I just don't want to see more people following a path that might lead into something not so great for the future and not so great for people, and they might come in for the wrong reason, right? And then again, on an anime's perspective, I don't want people to come in and ruin the field even more so than it already has been. Like, we already get pretty much trash people as it is to come through every single day. I'd rather not see more trash people to come through trying to, you know, coexist with this and then try to change up what anime is because they got in because of Luce and all that type of stuff, and the church want to do something, you know, wild and crazy as they usually do. So I rather not on that one. But that's just me. Again, maybe I'm not making sense. Maybe this is something that you guys absolutely don't agree with my take, and maybe I'm just being the crackhead person, and maybe this is just the first bad take of any of the bad takes. Maybe this is just a complete L on my side. But when it comes to, personally, again, with things of religion, this is the one section of things I just don't personally play with. I know people make tons of jokes about, I guess like God and Jesus and, how they aren't there and things like that. But I don't joke about things like that, even though, again, look at my channel. It's on crack. Why am I bringing this up? But it's like, for me personally though, it's the one area I just don't play with, right? And it's the one area I don't try to, touch upon too much, right? So that is definitely a whole thing, right? Despite everything, that's like the one subject I just don't really want to dive headfirst into, because that subject gets really, really challenging for me in a lot of different ways. So for me personally, I just don't want to, tackle into that one, So that's just how it goes for me. So personally for me, I don't really agree with how this character exists. In any other instance, if this character exists in any other way, sure, I don't care. But in the way, because it's the Catholic Church, I suppose, trying to do it in this sort of way, I just don't really care for it. I don't really like the idea of it for multiple reasons. But yeah, that's like the few set of reasons I would say. Again, this could be just my own take. This could be just something that maybe I'm just feeling, and maybe I'm the butthurt one over it, and maybe I'm just the crazy sounding person. But for me personally, for someone that has grown up with anime and both with church and God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and things of sort like that, constantly always learning about both of those things at the same time and enjoying both of those things, and having like strong faith in, Jesus, and obviously having a liking towards anime and things of sort like that. Those are just two things. While I love them both, I don't want to mix those things, personally, for me, So that's just how it is. But yeah, let me know about how you feel about Luce and all this stuff. Do you think this is a good idea? Do you think this is a bad idea? Just let me know in the comments. I am very curious to hear what people have to say about this one, because again, personally for me, this is just a little uncomfortable. And yeah, right, the Road to the Forest good, but like that's really about it. But that's essentially all I gotta say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow me on socials, and if you like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. Until then, it's Boy, sign off. Have a blessed day.